So today's session is going to be, my session is mostly covering Power Platform pieces for business application. My name is Ali Sharifi. I'm a Power Platform technical specialist working for Microsoft. I'm based in Vancouver, BC, and so a little bit of background for myself. Actually, I started my IT career with SharePoint and Modern Workplace, and then I joined a production team, and we developed a software application based on .NET technologies and WPF. And then I switched to Dynamics. I think it was Dynamics 4.0 or something like that. And we did a lot of XRM platform application type of scenarios with clients. Now working with Microsoft, I'm covering Power Platform mostly. And these are the channels that you can use to connect to me. So either LinkedIn or Twitter. I'm more active on LinkedIn compared to Twitter. So reach out if you have any questions or if you want to connect in general. We are going to talk about the whole concept of this Power Platform. So it's just it might be new for some people here, and we have people coming from the Dynamics background to this call. So I just want to step back and see what's the whole purpose of this platform. Why did we build this platform, and what are the use cases? And if you talk to people working on SharePoint side, they might have different ideas what is Power Platform. If you talk to Dynamics folks, they might have different ideas. So just want to paint a picture and see what are the use cases that we see out there for the platform. So before I just go to the technical side of the things, I just want to paint a picture of what are the challenges that we see within the organizations. So if you are trying to drive the digital innovation or transformation within your organization, there are a lot of challenges. You might have paper processes, you might have limitation on budget, and you want to build all of these applications that are right now on paper processes, and you want to move them to some sort of digital format. But again, you don't have enough developers. It takes a lot of time to build those applications, and you don't have enough people within IT to build all of these apps. At the same time, there's this concept of shadow IT. So if you don't respond to business needs, business might just go and purchase their own software. So they might go and put a lot of things on Excel sheets, and maybe they build their own access databases and build all of these silos of the data. So again, as you see, there are a lot of challenges within the organization out there. And again, security and compliance is another big concern for many organizations. So if somebody put the data in an Excel sheet and that data is leaked, how you want to prevent that? How do you want to monitor how all of these data is stored within the organization? Now, if we look at the current landscape of the applications and how it looks within the organization, Forrester did a research last year, and they found out that there's almost 70% of application backlog within the organizations. So these are the business users or business departments who are coming to IT or professional developers and asking for help, and they want to automate their processes. They want to digitize the applications that they're using right now. At the same time, the astonishing number here is almost 40% of the organization out there, they're using paper processes, which is crazy at this day and age. So as you see here, there are a lot of challenges. Now, adding on top of that, if you look at what are going to be the landscape in next few years, I mean, the speed of the change is crazy at these times. And we are expecting to have around 500 million business application by a few years from now. How do we want to address this need? How do we want to build all of these applications? So our answer actually to this is that we don't have to rely on IT for all of these scenarios. I mean, if you look at the concept of digital transformation and innovation within the organization, this shouldn't be driven only by a limited number of users or a specific entitled people within the organization. We want everybody within the organization to be able to innovate. And if you look at the newer generation that is coming to the workforce, these are the people who knows, they grow up with the mobile cell phones and they grown up with the internet. So they're pretty tech savvy, so they can build application, they can automate the processes quite easily. They're not like people who used to work with Excel for 20 years. So it is different landscape coming up here, and we need everybody within the organization to be able to help us. We need, drive the cultural shift within the organization to be able to get there. Actually, as part of this, one funny thing that we have within Microsoft is that we have this survey that we fill up every quarter that we give feedback to our leaders in terms of what tools do we have within our tool set. So one of the biggest items for us is that do we have the tools that allow us to finish our job and do our job properly. And that's one of the things that affects our culture. So if I don't have the tools to do my job, I mean, I can voice my concern, and I can drive the innovation within my company. Now, if you look step back, look at many organizations out there, there is this divide between IT and business users. Like I know that a lot of Dynamics folks on a call, they know that IT is sitting outside of the business. They don't have much involvement with the business in some of the organizations. So from the IT perspective, these guys are expert in security, governance, compliance, how to automate the processes, how to build the DevOps and build the ALM scenarios for enterprise applications. But they might not be close to business issues. For instance, if I'm going back to my use cases, like I was a developer before, I didn't really care much about the business. I wanted to use like best technology or use those cool features and widgets. But if you look at the business on the other side, they're close to their business. They know, if you look at business analysts within each unit, they know what are the requirements to drive the business. So how can we bridge this gap between these groups of people? We think that with some sort of low-code platform, we can enable anybody within the organization to drive this innovation. And again, low-code platform is a proven option to accelerate this innovation and also transformation within the organizations. Here's another cool graphic that I like to use in my presentation. So if we imagine all of these boxes are the application that we need to be built within the organizations, we can go and purchase off-the-shelf applications such as Dynamics 365 Sales or Marketing or Salesforce or SAP. Any one of these off-the-shelf COTS application you can purchase, and we can place them within the organization, and those will fill up some of the gaps within the organization. For instance, if you want to hire, if you want to purchase the HR module, you can just place it within the HR department and they can start using it. You can use custom development. You can bring developers, professional developers, and these guys, they know what they're doing. They can go and build application for some of the needs that probably have a big return of investment on these apps. For the rest of these areas, they're either not enough return of investment to build them and convert those paper processes to digital format, or there's not enough resources to do that. So how can we fill all these gaps around these applications? And that's what we think that low-code platform can help here. So it kind of covers the digital transformation end-to-end within the organizations. And looking at the benefits of the low-code platform, one important thing here is that, I mean, again, I've been talking to many people, and when we say low-code, they think that low-code means low-powered, but that's wrong. That's not how we we want to use this platform. Low-code here means that it's a rapid application development platform. It allows you to build application quite fast. So if you look at traditional type of development, it might take few months or few years to build a big application. But with this platform, you can go and build application really fast, save a lot of money, and drive the efficiency within your organization. And for that matter, Gartner actually estimated that by 2024, almost 70% of application development will be some sort of low code. So that's a quite important number to remember. Now, from Microsoft perspective, our low-code platform is Power Platform. And it is a platform for everybody. That's the important point here. Because you might remember that we talked about citizen developer for past few years, and we were really bullish on that. But essentially, if you go back and watch the videos on Microsoft Build a few weeks ago, we want to really highlight that this platform can be used by anybody within the organization, either if you're a business user, or if you're an IT admin, or if you're a pro developer, or full-time developer. So you can use all of these components within this platform to drive digital innovation. Now, looking at maybe, again, stepping back and see what are the concepts of the innovation that we have in the organization. So if we look at the data, that's the currency these days. That's the it's like a new goal that we have right now. So data is sitting at the center of each organization, and you might have been seeing this slide many times within our presentations from Microsoft. But essentially, this shows that data is at the center of each organization. This data might come from employee, it might come from your product or IoT sensors that you have in your product. It might coming from operation and F&O and few other applications that you have, or it might be data coming from your customers that are talking to you. So again, we want to centralize this data. How do we do that? So if we flip that and look at the data, we have Azure platform built on top of that data. So we have Azure, all of these Azure features that allows you to ingest all of this data to this platform, and you can bring developers to build the application on top of that data. But how can we go to the next step? What's the next step after enabling developers to ingest that data? We built this Power Platform from ground up to allow anybody within the organization use that data, not only developers, but again, business users and IT folks. On top of that, we have Office 365 and Dynamics 365. So one important thing here is that Dynamics, not the FNO and Business Central side, but Dynamics CRM concept, like if you look at sales, marketing, customer service, those modules are all built on top of Power Platform. And as Microsoft ourselves, we are not using, pure older style development. We use Power Platform to extend and build business applications, which is quite important concept. And I would say to my client and to many people out there that Dynamics itself is just an app within Power Platform. So it used to be platform before, but now it's just a finished app. It's a commercially off-the-shelf application, and Power Platform is a platform to extend this. At the same time, Office 365 is an important concept within Power Platform because there are so many extensibility areas that we use Power Platform to extend Office 365. This includes extending Teams, extending your, the whole Microsoft 365 suite of application. We use Power Platform to extend that application suite. On top of that, we have ISV solutions. So any partner out there or ISV vendors, they can go and build apps on top of Power Platform or Dynamics and put these in app stores for everybody to be able to use. And if there are any questions, just come off mute or ask questions through chats. I'm happy to answer them.
I think you're doing good, Ali. Please.
Thank you. So looking at the Power Platform components, so we have 4 major components within Power Platform. So these are actually the presentation, I would say presentation layer, but these are the layer that you interact with these applications. So Power BI, probably everybody knows what is Power BI. It's used for business intelligence and deriving insight from your data. We have Power Apps. These are platform that used for building application, driving action on top of your data. Power Automate is used for process automation. This includes both RPA and digital process automation. And we also have Power Virtual Agent, which allows you to build intelligent chatbots for your organization. And the good thing here is that all of these components are integrated together. So it's built on top of Azure, and it's really seamlessly integrated with each other. Underneath that, we have a few major components here. So data connectors is one of the biggest areas. So we have around 320 data connectors right now. So whatever system that you can imagine out there, we have a connector for it. So if it's either on-premise or a SaaS application, you can connect to them. And if there's no connector for it, you can go and build a custom connector. We have a portal concept here that allows you to publish your data to external users, like customers or vendors and things like that. You can bring AI to your application. So this is really great because you don't have to hire, data scientists and Python developers to be able to use and build these AI modules. So you can just easily bring AI to your apps or to your automation or any one of these tool set that we have here. And biggest piece here is the common data service. This is our heterogeneous data storage on a cloud. The dynamic set of applications actually are built on top of common data service. And this gives you both common data service and also common data model, give you a data model and a schematized type of model for your databases. So you can model your data quite easily using this data storage. Having said that, you don't have to use common data service. We suggest always to use common data service, but in many cases and scenarios, you might just connect to your SAP system or Oracle system to extend those applications. Just going through each one of these components quite fast here. So with Power Apps, as I said, you can go and extend Office 365 and Dynamics 365. You can extend your legacy applications. So if you have, if you're in insurance business and you have a legacy application for claim management, you can definitely use Power Apps to extend those applications. You can build departmental solutions. So like within Microsoft ourselves, we're using Power Apps for our HR modules, for time off and kudos and things like that. So our HR team actually built a set of application on top of Power Apps to enable us to connect with them. And you can go and build the most complex application using Power Apps and the whole platform, such as Dynamics 365. So if you want, like, that's a good example. So if you look at the type of applications that we have, like with Dynamics 365, we can consider that actually a mission critical type of app that you can hire, I don't know, hundreds of developers and put them using this platform to build apps. So three types of application or type of apps that we have within Power Apps are model-driven app, Canvas app, and Portal app. And we are moving actually to kind of unify them at this point. But right now at this point, we have two types of app that you have to choose between them whenever you want to build a new app in Power Apps. With Power BI, as I said, this allows you to build a data culture within your organization. So that was actually our first member of this platform, Power BI. And this allows you to, anybody within the organization as a type of self-service scenarios, building data, building actually dashboards and derive insight from the data, and publish this dashboard for anybody within the organization to be able to use.
Hey, Ali.
Yes.
Going back one slide with those three flavors of Power Apps, what would you say is the best bet right now? Is there, like, are they all going to get deprecated and move to something else, or is there one that's sort of more safe to build on? Or
none of them are going to deprecate. We are unifying them at this point. But again, if you are building an application, it really depends on your scenario. For instance, if the app is going to be used on the mobile device and you want to use mobile features, you can definitely look at Canvas app. The only differentiation here is with model-driven app, you are basing your information on CDS. So it is built on CDS, if you probably know that. But each one has its own use case, and the good thing is you can embed them into each other. So you can bring a Canvas to model-driven app.
Okay.
And does that answer your question?
What's the the Portal app? How is it different from the model-driven app and the Canvas app?
Right. So Canvas and model-driven app are for internal users. These are people sitting within your HR or payroll, or these are people who have Azure Active Directory or some sort of internal type of users. With Portal, it's for external users. Let's say you have a customer service scenario, you want your customer to go and see the status of their cases, or they want to, use chatbots to talk to your agent in a back office. So these two are mostly for back office. Portal is mostly for external users.
And is Portal app still delivered through the Power app and on the phone, or is it mostly a mobile web thing?
So it is actually a website. It is a portal. It is responsive. Regardless of where you're opening it, you can see how it flows between different devices. And that's a big point. Like with our mobile app, actually, we unified both of these apps. So we have only right now one app. If you install Power Apps on your cell phone, and if you want to use these two apps, you can open it from that central location, central app. And it works seamlessly. Before we had two apps, but now we have one single app that rendered that.
Okay, but the Portal app, you don't need the app. You just basically, it's a website. Okay.
It is a website, that is looking actually at the CDS data at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, one good example here that I give all the time is for city. Like if you're driving in a city, you see a pothole, you go and open up the portal, you open a case with the city, and then somebody in the background inside the city as a rep for customer service, they see a case created here on this side. They can patch some, they can send somebody to job site to fix the issue and take a photo with the Canvas app.
Got it. Yeah, maybe I'll connect with you a little bit more about that after. Thanks.
For sure. So we covered Power BI. The next item here which is one of our biggest investment areas within this platform, is Power Automate. So if you heard the news out of Build, we actually bought a company called Soft Automotive, and this directly puts us in Magic Quadrant of for process automation. And the other big component with Power Automate is that it covers both digital process automation, which means that you can use APIs to connect to all the systems that you can imagine, or if there's no API for that application, you can use robotic process automation, which within Power Automate is called UI flows. So you can do UI type of automation. So you don't have to connect to APIs. You just capture your clicks around the application, and you can automate those processes like that. But the beautiful thing here is that you can use Power Automate for simplest scenarios. Let's say whenever you receive an email from your manager, get a notification on your cell phone. That's more like a personal productivity type of scenarios. but you can also go and build most complex scenarios. Let's say you have HR onboarding, and that onboarding requires 20, 30 people to be involved in that process. And that might be from different departments. Like, let's say somebody signs the contract and it goes to HR and then goes to payroll and then goes to IT department to onboard them. We can automate all of those within Power Automate. With Power Virtual Agents, which is the newest member of this platform, this allows you to build chatbots. So the whole platform here is actually, again, is a low-code type of platform. It's more like a graphical user interface, and anybody can go and build these apps. So if you look at traditionally, you would have asked somebody from the IT side to go to build these apps on Azure Bot Framework for you, but now anybody can go and train these bots and build these bots. The biggest piece here is that these bots are connected to Power Virtual Agent in the background. So it's not only conversation. The end goal here is to drive actions from those conversations. So you can bring in Power Automate to these intelligent bots, and you can automate your processes. For instance, if a customer comes to your website and they want to schedule an appointment, they can talk to the bot. The bot will understand what they're typing, and they can also send them to other systems or update other systems for those customers. Now we talked about citizen developers. Everybody are welcome to this platform, but if you're a developer, you might feel left out, right? So you might think that what's my role is going to be within this platform, and that makes sense. I mean, if you look at traditional ways, like if you go back 20 years back, you might think that, okay, everybody were writing assembly code or C code, and then it became C#, and you just progressed through multiple different generation of languages. We think that the next generation would be a low-code platform, and but I mean, all the developers are welcome into this platform because there are a lot of areas that developers are needed. So this is not only for citizens and business users. This is also applied to professional developers within their organization. So the whole platform is built on top of Azure. It means that if you hit a roadblock at any point, you can go and use the Azure services. For instance, if you look at the AI Builder modules that we have within Power Platform, you might want to use face APIs to recognize faces. In that case, you can go and use the cognitive services. You can ask your developers to use cognitive services to build these modules for you to be able to use them in your apps. At the same time, you can use Azure Functions to automate some of the things that you have. Even with the Power Virtual Agent itself, actually is built on top of Azure Bot Framework. So at any point, if you hit a roadblock, you can ask your developer to help you and build those Azure Bot Framework skills for you within the platform. And there are a lot of use cases for SQL. For instance, we announced the T-SQL connection for Common Data Service, and this opens a lot of doors for developers to use SQL and syntax like that to extend this platform. So there's a good story for developers within this platform. And again, what we say is that this platform kind of make the development kind of faster. So if they used to do C# code or Java, they should look at this platform and make some of those mundane and boring type of development, use this platform for those kind of scenarios. We have a good story with Visual Studio. So we have, again, you can use Visual Studio on the developer side to, there's actually a template for Visual Studio for CDS that you can install. And also we have web APIs that you can use with CDS. These are OData APIs that you can call, is like a REST API that you can call the CDS environment. The other big area that the developer can focus, these are mostly on the PCF gallery. So PCF actually is a component framework that you can build components on for Power Platform using this concept here. So that's another area that we also have a gallery here that's one of our MVPs put together. You can take a look at it and you can go and build components for this platform. Again, custom connector is another area that you can, again, if there's no connector to your application, you can build custom connectors. And these are REST REST type of connectors that you can build, and you can bring them to the platform for anybody to use. and a lot of client-side extensibility. So if you're coming from the dynamic side, you know that there are a lot of JavaScript and a lot of API calls that you can make. And again, a lot of play for developers here within the platform on the client-side extensibility. Just gonna go a bit faster since I have a few minutes left. But for server-side extensibility, we also have plugins and workflows that you can use. These are all C# code, and we're using .NET to be able to get into the pipelines within the CTS. And we also can use, again, all of these Azure function features that we have to extend this platform. So there are a lot of areas that developers they can extend the platform using those features. And again, coming back to this slide, this shows that, again, the transformation happens from the basic layer, like anybody within the organization with Microsoft 365 type of licenses, they can start building application right now. And then when they get to the point that is more complex, they can bring developers and IT admins to build some sort of enterprise-wide applications. And again, the concept of center of excellence becomes really important here, when we start from the citizen developer side. And with that, so if you want to start, there are a couple of links here. You can go to make.powerapps.com or powerbi.microsoft.com or powerautomate.microsoft.com. So you can go to these links, and there's actually you can spin up your trial environment, or you can use the free community version of the tool to be able to build your application and automation. We also have we have also App in a Day sessions, so you can attend those. I know that Joe has been really having some sessions for that for Vancouver and Western Canada, so you can go and check out the App in a Day sessions and learn about the platform end to end.